Why does making friends as an adult feel so
What
hard?
should I wear on a first
What the
date?
hell is a foreign?
But that
Why
hookup
is
was
buying my
not
first
good.
home
So
What do I want my
frustrating.
life to look like in 5 years?
We want to know too.
Since 2012, The Everygirl has been an online destination to help women around the world achieve the life of their dreams. Now, we're excited to bring you the same inspiring content with the Everygirl podcast.
Happy Thursday, girls. Welcome back to the show. I love hearing how much you enjoyed Tuesday's episode on weight loss. It means so much to hear from you. And I have so many episodes coming up that will continue to make you think and give you tangible advice and that will actually improve your life just after listening. So I'm so excited for all we have coming up, just to give you a little tease. But welcome to our weekly Thursdays Ask The Everygirl, where you submit a question and we give you some advice. This Everygirl writes in, I just started a new job and I'm feeling major imposter syndrome. It's not just starting something new. I feel like I've had imposter syndrome at every stage of my career, including at my previous company where I was for 5 years. I was constantly doubting myself when I became a manager, got a promotion, worked on a project, etc. I've basically had imposter syndrome since I started interning as a teenager, and I'm tired. How do I stop feeling this way once and for all? Sincerely, a chronic imposter. I feel like this question, first of all, is so relatable. I honestly think we all kind of feel this way. Am I right? It reminds me of that meme or clip of Charlotte from Sex and the City talking about wanting to find her soulmate. And she's like, I've been dating since I was 15. Where is he? I feel like we all feel that way about our careers. Like, I've been working since I was 15. When the fuck am I going to start feeling accomplished or worthy or good enough or successful? So, first of all, I want to break down what imposter syndrome actually is, what it feels like. Because I think whether or not you identify with that term that is most often used pretty colloquially, it is something that I guarantee everyone has experienced. The dictionary defines it as the persistent ability, persistent, that's so key, to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. To translate, your boss promotes you to manager, and you're like, who, me? I don't think I'm actually ready for that. Maybe it's review time and you're like, I know I'm supposed to ask for a raise. And yes, I have all the stats on how my work helped our company this year, but did I really do that much? Do I really deserve this? Maybe you got into a really good school or a program, but you're like, I'm not as smart as the other students. Or when you start a new job like this listener and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. What did I get myself into? Honestly, when you start a new job, you kind of feel like you're in a movie where people switch bodies or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like in Freaky Friday when Lindsay Lohan is in her mom's body trying to pretend like she's a psychologist, but she's really just like a high school student. Or in Life Size, remember that movie? When a Barbie, played by Tyra Banks, of course, comes to life and she has to pretend to be a normal human woman. So she gets a job as a secretary and is just like typing random letters. That is what starting a new job feels like a lot of the time. You are typing random letters, trying to prove to the others that you are a normal human woman. I think imposter syndrome can also apply to that feeling where you see a job posting for your dream job or your dream company is hiring and feeling like, I'm not going to even try to apply because I already know I won't get it. A lot of us look at what we've accomplished and where we've gone in our careers, big or small, and think, I am a fucking imposter. I have worked really freaking hard to remove this, but I definitely still feel a little bit like an imposter every goddamn day of my life. I mean, you've heard me talk about this if you listen to the show, but when I started doing solo episodes, I was like, who is going to care what I have to say? I am nobody. And at the beginning of the podcast, I was like, wait, did I trick my boss into giving me this? Like, I don't deserve this. You guys, it's crazy. The mental gymnastics we go through to convince ourselves that we don't deserve what we so clearly do. My point is that if we are all experiencing this at one point or another, you are not experiencing it because you don't actually deserve the new job or the new role or the new paycheck. You are experiencing it because your brain is playing a trick on you that all of our brains play on us when we go for what we want. Why we feel this imposter syndrome? I mean, there's so many reasons. Especially as women, humbleness and selflessness is so deeply ingrained in us that we can't even feel safe to be proud or self-focused in our own minds without feeling shame. There's this famous statistic that says, on average, men apply for a job when they meet only 60% of the qualifications, but women apply only if they meet 100% of qualifications. Translation: men are confident about their ability at 60%, but women don't feel confident until they've checked every item on the list, unless they are perfect, making it really freaking hard to grow because we know that there is no such thing as perfection. Overall, our culture conditions us to stay small in so many ways. I mean, even look at the most successful people, like mainstream media. When someone wins an award, when an actor or director wins an Oscar, they're not saying, I freaking did this. I am amazing. I am so talented. I deserve this. What do? They thank other people. We don't have any good examples of someone owning their own success. You know, anyone who is overtly proud of themselves is deemed as an egomaniac or they're not humble. So a lot of us don't even know what it looks like to actually feel deserving of our own success. And then there is the physiological reason we experience imposter syndrome. The brain wants us to say the same, like we are conditioned for routine, because routine and comfort were essential for survival throughout evolution. Back in the caveman days, if we were to explore a new route while hunting, or we wanted to leave our tribe, get out of any sense of routine or comfort or sameness, that means that there's more chance of danger. That means that there might be a tiger hiding that we can't see because we aren't used to these bushes or we don't know this hiding spot, or that means that we leave the tribe that's keeping us safe. So the brain is evolutionarily wired for sameness. But in today's world, when we experience newness, it's obviously not a new hunting route or a new tribe. Well, for most of us, it's a new job or a new responsibility. So the imposter syndrome, that voice in your head that's like, I don't deserve this, go back to the previous job, there's danger ahead, I want to go back to safety. That is the same mechanism as go back to the same hunting route go back to the same tribe, there's danger in the unknown that our ancestors experienced. So how do we get over it? I have two answers here. There's a few steps you can do to try to get imposter syndrome to go away. First of all, noticing and naming the feeling. This is why I educate you on why that feeling comes up, what imposter syndrome actually is, so that you can remind yourself of that every time you notice yourself going there, because that takes away its power. You can say to yourself, I'm thinking this not because I actually don't deserve this or because I'm actually not ready for this, but because my brain is wired for comfort and culture has taught me to stay small. This is the patriarchy talking. This is not reality. Second step is to begin collecting evidence that you, in fact, are worthy. I know some people call this their affirmation folder, but have some location, a folder on your phone or computer. Maybe it's a physical box or folder if you want to print things out or write things down, where you literally track every compliment your coworker gives you, every win, every successful campaign or project you're working on, every single accomplishment you've ever had. Start collecting it. Every review or comment or every time you guys DM me, every single time, I literally screenshot every single one of them and keep them in a folder. And going to this folder when I need to has done wonders to remind myself that I deserve to be here because I am helping women. So your affirmations folder, or your I'm the shit folder, if you will, is helpful for a few different reasons. For one, when that imposter syndrome inevitably creeps in, you have a place to go to show yourself evidence to disprove that imposter syndrome. But also because when you collect anything, you start subconsciously looking for more of it. If you are collecting pennies, you are going to start seeing a lot more pennies on the sidewalk than you ever saw before. This is why psychologists will recommend choosing 3 things to be grateful for at the end of every day. It's not just because it boosts your mood when you're thinking of those three things, but because research shows with this practice, you'll start looking for more things to be grateful for throughout the entire day in preparation of this routine at night. So you start noticing more reasons to be grateful for and therefore experience more gratitude. The same thing goes with confidence or with self-worth. If you are in the habit of collecting your wins and compliments and accomplishments, you will begin to notice more of them. That great job, I love the presentation that your coworker gives you on a random Tuesday, you probably wouldn't really remember that or think about it too much. But when you add it to the folder, you pay attention. Success coach Liz Tran also said on the podcast that it takes 7 seconds for anything to sink into the brain. So when you do receive a compliment or you accomplish something, literally let it marinate in your brain for at least 7 seconds. Because we all know that we remember the bad comments more than the positive ones. And this is why we spend longer thinking about the bad comments. So collecting evidence forces you to spend more time thinking about the good comments. Step number 3 is to change the order. What I mean by that is that we often feel like we have to feel fully ready to apply to the job or ask for a raise or step into the new role. We are so programmed to think that confidence is the first step and then the action is the second step. But that's not true. We have the order completely backwards. Confidence is a side effect of action. You don't wait until you feel ready to do something. You send the pitch, ask for a raise, show up to the meeting, and then doing the thing is what rewires your brain to believe you're capable. You don't feel confident in order to do the thing. You do the thing, and then that increases your confidence. You have to remember that success does not mean perfection. You don't need to know everything. Most people do not know everything at any point of their career. I think any successful person will tell you that there were more times than not where they more so didn't know anything. Success does not mean being perfect. Success means staying open, curious, and committed. So when the thought of, I don't belong here comes up, you can change the thought to, I'm learning to belong here. I'm learning this new role. I'm learning how to manage people. I'm learning to improve my skills. If you find it's really hard to believe or it doesn't resonate you to think like, hell yeah, I deserve this. I belong here. I'm amazing. If that feels really hard, switching to just the I'm learning this new thing instead of I don't know this thing can really help get you back into the mindset that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to want to learn. And that's part of any job. That's part of life. And my second answer to how do we overcome imposter syndrome is that we don't. In March of 2024, I interviewed the model, actor, and entrepreneur Lizzie Mathis, and I asked her about imposter syndrome. And she said that she has come to look at imposter syndrome as a manifestation tool instead of something to get over. To me, this is actually how I would honestly answer your question. We can stop seeing imposter syndrome as something we need to get over or suffer through, and instead see it as a sign that we are growing, that we are on the right path. Because think about how I explained the brain is wired for comfort, and imposter syndrome is just a reaction to being uncomfortable. If we're not feeling a little imposter syndrome all the time, if we're totally comfortable and we're just like, yeah, I'm good all the time, that means that we are not growing. Like I said, I have really tried to get over limiting beliefs and improve my self-worth, but simultaneously, I kind of look at it too like if I'm not feeling uncomfortable and a little freaked out and nervous, that's a sign that I need to dream bigger and go for more. So yes, do all these things I mentioned in this episode to help you push through that feeling instead of letting it take over. But I really want to flip the switch on imposter syndrome. I want you to start seeking out imposter syndrome. I want you to see it as a sign that you are on the right path, and it will change your life. Thank you so much for listening. Share this episode with your work wife or your sister or the person that you think is much more capable than what she may believe. We have so much to overcome as women, and I really hope that getting this information to people will help start to move the needle so we can actually stop being so freaking humble and worried about discomfort and live the life that we always dreamed of. If you have a question for me, please DM us at the Everygirl Podcast on Instagram, and I will talk to you next week. If you guys loved Brianna Weiss's episode, you are going to love Tuesday's episode. You will laugh, you will cry. It will transform the way you think of your life forever, and that's not an exaggeration. So I'll talk to you then. Okay, love you. Have a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know I sure did. Please do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really makes a huge difference for our show so we can keep growing and bringing the content that you love. If you want more info, you can find us at The Everygirl Podcast on Instagram or at theeverygirlpodcast.com. Talk to you next week.